I'm Cindy. As a professional organizer, I found that the single best way to stay organized is to have a home for things. Teaching kids how to be organized is really important because it teaches them a lot of good habits that they'll use throughout their life. If they are always searching for their papers that they brought home from school, it takes away from homework time. I've worked with my sister and my nephew, and he had a lot of papers, a lot of memorabilia, things that he outgrew that he didn't even know he had. And we sort of sorted through everything, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, Aunt Cindy, I didn't even know I had this, and I don't want it. You can get rid of it." He was a great client. And then we just set up some really simple files for him. So he had a place to put his tests and his photos, and he loves it, and he uses it all the time. It's really easy for him because he knows things have a home. The area that children study in, it's important that you work with them to have them set up, whether they have a desk in their room, making sure they have the right task lighting, have a good chair, have a place to put their papers. If it is a little file box, or some desks come with like a file drawer, you can set up just really simple files for them. A lot of times kids like to hold on to their tests or letters or photos, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be all school stuff, but a place where they can put things, and they get in the habit of putting things away. Kids carry their backpacks, and we all know they get really heavy, and there's a lot of things in them. And they come in the house, they just kind of drop them wherever. And then the next day they're like, "Oh my God, where's that test? Where's that homework? I have to go to school." So getting them in the habit of organizing their backpack and utilizing little containers to put things in, maybe their pens, or the colored plastic folders are really great for their papers, because then they know which ones are in which colored folders, and designating certain parts of the backpack for certain things so that they always know where to find them. If you're there for homework time, you say, "Okay, let's sit down and see what's in your backpack. Let's clean out anything that you don't need," and so it becomes a habit with them. You have to supervise them. Even their clothes, it's setting out their clothes the night before to get into these habits. It's just like teaching them how to make their bed and keep their room clean. It's all part and parcel of the same kind of good habits that we all need to have, into adulthood. Children and parents struggle with how much schoolwork do I keep from year to year. Kids create a lot of stuff, and if you keep all of it, your garage is going to be full. So at the end of the school year, it's really, I think, a great thing to do is to sit down and figure out what things do we really want to keep. Whether it's for the next child, or it's going to be study notes that might help them down the road. And you can create one or several, probably a plastic bin, and either label it by grade or by child, depending on how much stuff is in it. And that's probably how I would sort it or organize it. I think going shopping for back-to-school supplies is a sort of an important ritual, but I think it's important to sit down with your child before you go shopping and make a list. Let's see what we've got that we still can use from last year, and what are the new things that we're going to get. And then you go shopping with your child and kind of stick to your list. There's so many tempting point-of-purchase offers. So if you have a list and you know what you need, it's like going grocery shopping. You're less likely to buy those cookies that you weren't planning on. If you have that list, and and if you have a budget, because you know what it's going to stick to your budget. That's always a little bit easier.